A top secret Black Ops 6 Zombies interview took place straight after the Black Ops 6 Direct at an exclusive in-person Xbox Games showcase event in June. Xbox has now made this public, and in this video we're diving into all of the interesting new bits of gameplay details Kevin revealed and teased to, as well as the explanation of an 11-year-old mystery in Mob of the Dead. There's quite a few really cool things to go over in this video, so sit back, relax, click that thumbs up button and subscribe so you don't miss a single thing about Black Ops 6 Zombies. But diving straight in, this interview was had between Kevin Drew, Associate Director of Design at Treyarch, as well as two developers from the Coalition, talking about Gears of War E-Day. Now, the first interesting part of this interview is when Kevin describes this as what he believes to be the best iteration of zombies that we have ever seen, improving on Cold War zombies with ideas that they didn't have the time to put in that game.
I think there's different answers for each part of the game, right? We have campaign, we have multiplayer, and we have zombies. And I could speak for zombies when I say it's a mode that actually started as an Easter egg back in World of War, right? And it has grown over the years. And initially, it was kind of like the Wild West. So like every time we would make a new zombies game, we would just try new things that we thought was cool, right? But over the years, by Black Ops 3, certain things we realized are very important, and we kind of established the DNA of zombies. It's a lot of different like perks and pack-a-punch and really cool maps and hidden quests and all sorts of things. And we realized those certain things are very kind of sacred, and we need to like keep those and iterate on them and make them better, but then always pushing ourselves to do new things, because that's like at the heart of this mode. It's almost like counterculture to COD, where it's like we get to put things in that you would never see in or think that would be in Call of Duty.
Stuff you're just not expecting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When you were saying earlier about the pandemic, right? There was challenges with that. In the last game we made, we had to make concessions, and you know, there were certain things that we wanted to bring to zombies that we couldn't. And now this has been the opportunity here to fully realize and make what we think will be the best version of it. And one of the big things is bringing back a set crew. Like this idea that who you play as in the story matters a lot, and you're growing with them as you progress through the cinematics and just the moment-to-moment gameplay, which, you know, you have these emergent moments, and when you have the characters actually have personality and interact with each other, that's huge, right?
Now, the takeaway from that clip is it's so fascinating that he said that there was concessions that had to be made in Cold War Zombies due to the pandemonia and not having enough time. And one of the things that they could do in this game that they couldn't in the last game was the set crews, which means that must have been an idea that was going to actually be in Cold War Zombies, but instead we just got the lifeless operator system, and it's so good that Treyarch were able to get the best of both worlds in Black Ops 6. It's also extremely fascinating to see that he thinks this is the best iteration of zombies that they have ever done. And I think it's very important and deliberate that he mentioned that as the games have progressed, Treyarch have been able to identify the staple parts of the zombies mode that they know the community has latched on and enjoys the most. So I'm glad that that's getting full focus, because whilst we may just expect these things because we've had them in the past, a lot of the time between Cold War and now, players have really doubted that Treyarch know what the players want. When we look at some of the lacking things in the zombies iterations like Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3 as examples. Now, this next moment from the interview is easily the best of all, because as I mentioned in the intro, Kevin Drew explains an 11-year-old mystery from Mob of the Dead as part of an answer to a question on if he's put any personal touches into Black Ops Zombies over the years. As a designer, he also points out one distinct gameplay detail for Black Ops 6 Zombies we didn't know before that potentially hints at the difficulty of the zombies mode. So take a listen.
When it got to zombies, it was sometimes our personal touches are accidental. When we were working on Black Ops 2, we were like a new team working on it, and we hadn't quite caught up with all of the rules yet. And so when we were determining the eye color for Mob of the Dead, a producer got asked like what color to make them, and he's just like, I don't know, red. And then with Q2, like we released the trailer, and the community is like, what is this third faction? What do the red eyes mean? And we're like, oh, okay. That was like the way accident.
Intentional.
Yes. Yeah, totally. It worked out. But I think in recent years, not I've been directing the gameplay, the design systems, it's really about, I want to bring zombies to more people. And so approachability has been a key part for me to put in the game. So just really like raising the floor. A lot of people, it's a very challenging mode. And so when people try for the first time, they might survive for 2 minutes. And it's like, once you get in there and you experience like the higher rounds, it's so much fun. So we want to just make sure that more people can do that.
One day I'm gonna get to those higher rounds.
You're gonna do it.
This is the year. This is my time.
This game, we got all sorts of stuff for you that's gonna help you with that.
Now, how crazy is that? First of all, the fact that the red eyes in Mob of the Dead was just a decision from a producer. There was no rhyme or reason to that decision. It was just, hey, make the eyes red because that looks cool. And so many theories were made back in the day on what that meant, because we knew yellow eyes was Samantha, blue eyes was Richtofen, so who was in control if there were red eyes? And it's wild how Treyarch just ran with that over the years with no real explanation to it, and Kevin's just really debunked it there for us. But even more important to focus on is the fact that he is looking to make this zombies mode even more accessible than it's ever been before. And I know when you first hear that, you might think that could be quite a negative thing. It sounds like by making it more accessible, the zombies mode itself is going to be easier, which would mean every facet of the mode would become easier, such as the Easter egg quests and all sorts of things like that. And I think it's very important to not get too narrow-minded in that thought process, because Treyarch have obviously seen over the years why fans loved certain zombies modes so much. We're looking at you, Black Ops 3, and how they're probably just trying to find a balance that will obviously fit every type of player. At its core, having zombies accessible to more players is only a positive benefit to the zombies ecosystem. It means more people are going to be playing zombies than ever before, which means Activision will show it even more love and support than it has, which means we'll just get even more zombies in the future. And when you look at Black Ops 3 Zombies fundamentally, I would argue that it is a very accessible zombies mode. There's just certain maps that are far more complex than other maps, but clearly the amount of player activity and engagement that Black Ops 3 Zombies had is a testament to why there was such good DLC support and how we had Zombies Chronicles for that game. So I definitely think you should not overlook this as a negative thing that Kevin Drew has said here. But it's super fascinating. At the very end of that excerpt there, he mentioned that there are going to be some things in the game that will help the host achieve those high rounds. Specifically, things that are going to help you as a less experienced Zombies player get to those high rounds. So what exactly do you think he's meaning by this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because initial thoughts were maybe leaning towards there being different difficulty options, but I would argue in Black Ops 4 that was absolutely pointless. Having multiple difficulties just confuses the player because it was not obvious what the differences between the difficulties were. But I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments below about all this. Now, the host went further on to ask questions about how the technology with the new movement is going to change zombies fundamentally, which I think is a really important thing to ask.
I think that's the highlight, the Omni movement. You all saw it today. It's like revolutionary in how you play the game. It just fundamentally changes how you move, and it kind of removes this artificial construct of like, you know, in real life, you can sprint backwards. You can sprint to the side. Like professional athletes do this all the time. So once we kind of ungated that or realized we could do that and we made this massive endeavor, it's changed everything, right? Like how you play multiplayer is different. How you play zombies is going to be different. Like the ability to, you know, sprint backwards while you've got a horde of zombies coming at you is very different than MP, where you're taking advantage of other things like supine and all those things. So
look, for us less skilled people, being able to run away from
I think you still got to watch behind you.
We're thinking about that. I appreciate it.
And then to close out the interview, Kevin Drew basically summed up the story going into Black Ops 6 Zombies, as well as the genuine passion and enthusiasm that him and his team have towards bringing round-based back, which he thoroughly believes is going to be the best iteration of it yet.
But on the zombie side, we left you like on a huge cliffhanger. So basically Cold War was building up a lot of beats. We at the end, like we kind of just did a huge 180. The director ended up being Edward Richtofen, who is a long-stay zombies character. He betrays your entire squad. He sends them off for prison for 5 years, and we're here now in the early 90s picking up the pieces. So the crew have been in prison for 5 years. They've been just, you know, Sarah Connoring, basically just doing a lot of push-ups and just ready for revenge.
What are we leaving the people with?
I think the same thing, where it's like I've been waiting like literally years to just say round-based zombies is going to be a Black Ops 6.
Yes.
And you know, I think we've set out to make the best version of it. So I think the entire team's very passionate about the mode, and we're bringing things back from the past, like gobblegums, and among other things. And I think we're going to really make something special here, and we hope everyone enjoys it.
Overall, I'm really happy to see Xbox do stuff like this, especially interviewing Kevin Drew from Treyarch. It could have been any other developer to talk about multiplayer or campaign, but no, we got the goods for zombies here. It's definitely a nice little thing to tide us over before we get any more major teasers and reveals for Black Ops 6 Zombies. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe. I'll link the full interview down in the description. You can go ahead and watch it, or you can click it on your screen right now.